There we go.
Is now when I shout it? No, I'm kidding.
You missed your chance.
Damn it.
Oh Lord, hey Lauren, since this is your DMing, would you like to do the intros?
Oh my goodness.
Oh goodness, intros, love intros. Hi everybody, and welcome to Flight of the Apollyon. An armor Aster armor. I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. Nobody tell Briar. Armor. I think it's armor Aster. But I could be wrong. I will have it right the next time. Because the problem is I was listening to the Friends of the Table actual play today where they pronounce it wrong the whole time, and Austin prefaces it with saying like, hey, this is how it's actually pronounced, and my brain I can't even remember. So it's one of the two. It's Aster, I think it's Aster, armor Aster. So welcome to Flight of the Apollyon, and Armor Aster streamed play, actual play stream. I am Lauren Peterson. I will be the MC for this. You can find me on Twitter at DM_LSP, and the games I write on at DMLSP.itch.io, I think is how itch does its first, or it might be itch.io/DMLSP. Google Kissing Capes, you'll find me. Joining me today is I don't know what setup y'all are seeing, but I'm going to go to my right, which is Kim.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Kim. You can usually find me on Corpses and Curios or on Twitter at ViolentlyGinger. Am I doing full character intro? How are we doing this? Or are we saving that for later?
How do we want to do it? Do we want to do character intros now? Let's yeah, why not? Actually, let's hold off until I get some a thing I wrote down and out. So yeah.
Cool. That's me then.
All right, next up is Fav.
My name is what is my name? My name is Liz. You can find me on Twitter at Favtastical. I hope I know what I'm doing tonight. I hope I don't kill my character off in the first game again.
I don't know why you did the first time.
Next is Kit.
Hi, I'm Kit. You can find me here and also on my channel, Kit Battlebeard. I also hope I don't kill my character in the first stream.
This is a band of blades. Not everybody's walking into it with a giant target on their back.
I hope not.
Oh, I signed up to have a target on my back.
I spent too much time on my background again, so.
I'm glad you finished that.
And then we have, finally, Drew.
Yeah, I'm Drew Tillman, and I was running Band of Blades, and now I'm here playing this game, and I'm so excited.
And you have incredible eyeliner.
Yes, I do. Thank you. It's wonderful. My girlfriend did a great job.
She really did.
So today we're going to be playing Armor Aster, and Armor Aster. I'm wondering. I think should I give like a setting rundown? We're playing in our own setting.
I mean, I feel like that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Get everyone caught up.
So, if for those of you who may be watching and are not familiar with Armor Aster, it is a fantasy mecha game in the vein of Escaflowne, and like some Gundam series, not all. It is a world where mages and wizards and warlocks and witches pilot giant mechs made out of crazy materials, and an authority has sort of taken over or is taking over, and we play as members of the cause, fighting back against it in an attempt to oppose it and then liberate ourselves and our allies. Our world, the world itself, we have not named, but this does take place on the flying continent of Calvaros. The flying continent of Calvaros is, as you might imagine, a giant flying continent. Years and years, decades and decades, hundreds of years ago, a miasma of purples and pinks and oranges and blues encroached upon the world. A poisonous gas a sort of death mist that scratched the lungs and burnt the skin. This was an unknown factor, and it caused us to have to adapt and find new ways to live, but it outgrew the wards and charms we were able to put into place, and soon it became unbearable. It encroached upon our cities, swallowed towns whole. We bound spirits and lesser gods and monsters to keep it at bay. And for a time it worked, but it became clear that we had to find a new solution. And the various orders devoted to these bound gods and spirits and forms of magic found a drastic but doable solution. Using powerful magics and binding even greater spirits into massive mana crystals, they were able to raise entire continents into the sky, to drift above the dazzling miasma and ferry us to salvation. This created a new period that many in history perceive to be peaceful, but that is really not the case. These floating continents became flying city-states and individual nations, now vying for space and resources amongst one another, each one headed up by one of the magical or religious orders. They began to fight. Piracy became a problem. Inter-flying continental warfare was an issue. And though this started off quietly at first, it eventually kind of blew up into what they call the War of the Orders. Cities and industry spread. Giant flying continents became giant flying cities. And they would basically war with one another until, amidst all of this, one order developed a new weapon. The Order of Persun created the modern Astir. We previously had Astirs, although they were ancient relics, artifacts, things built by gods or ancient powerful mages a long time ago. The Order of Persun managed to manufacture and mass produce them into what they call the Talisman Knight, a 25, maybe 30-foot tall armored knight capable of being piloted by trained mages, and not like the Astirs of old, which themselves would bind themselves to a sort of pilot and make themselves one with it. These were considerably less powerful, but they were able to mass produce them. So they had force and could move. They could move out numbers that others could not. And through the use of their Astirs, they managed to start unifying various orders, lashing their islands to the island of Calveros, expanding the cities, and assimilating those around them. So the Order of Persun continued to consolidate power, rise to prominence, and eventually ended the War of the Orders by declaring itself the Order of Orders. It was the head of all of them under its umbrella, offering them protection so long as they swore fealty to it. They were allowed to keep their gods and their magics, of course, but it had to be for the betterment of the Order of Orders. And so these city-states being lashed together and expanding out upon these flying continents became the bastion city of Talanthus, where those who worked for the Order of Orders could find safety from the miasma below and the air pirate brigands outside, and monsters and rogue demons and spirits and gods that wanted to punish us for taking to the air and occupying their space, and in some cases enslaving them. Now those orders that are left exist with relative autonomy if they are not absorbed into the Order of Persun, the Order of Orders, because it pretty much does not see them as a threat. People living in the bastion city of Talanthus are under constant watch by the Order of Persun, which is divided into multiple different smaller factions. And It is a difficult life here. While it's good for many, there are countless others who toil away in the lev works, keeping the machinery and magical technology that has been implemented into the continents running so that we do not plummet back down to the miasma-choked earth below. Uh, there's a big military presence here. The Order of Pursoon wants to keep us all safe. And to do so, they need Astirs to protect us. They also have a very extensive college, a lot of free education. Although, as Fav will probably get into, there is a bit of a darker side to that. The Authority controls everything. The Order of Pursoon controls everything. And the Order of Pursoon is what this game calls the Authority, the force we are working against. On the surface, things might seem pretty good if you have means and station and a good reputation. But underneath the hood, the Order of Pursoon is about control, about military dominance, and about some strange experimentation, things that most people are not privy to, but that we will get to see. That identifies our basic setting. So each of our players here is a character within the setting. Why don't we go around and talk about our character names and our playbooks and a little bit about your characters as we introduce the players who are going to make up the cause, one of the factions of the cause that directly opposes the Order of Pursoon. So again, same order, just because that's what you are on my screen. Let's start off with Kim.
All right. So I will be playing Farina Talbot, who is what the city identifies as a witch, although she prefers to be called a sorceress. She has a patron who is known as Phalaris, of the Order of Phalaris. She has silvery gray skin, tall silver golden horns. Technically, her species is of a horned bearing people known as the Cornus people. She has silver white hair and golden eyes. Her relationship with her patron, because patron relationships usually require some sort of give and take. Her magic is fueled by what the Order of Phalaris calls the Heart's Fire. So her life force, her energy itself, is what fuels her energy. It's not necessarily malicious. It's just that the more you use the magic, the more talented you are, the quicker you burn out. It's in a sense. There's a saying in the Order of Phalaris that the strongest of us burn the brightest. She also has a familiar, a flame, in the sense of Howl's Moving Castle and Calcifer.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yes. His name is Incendus, but he can travel with her in whatever form he wishes to take for the day. And her Aster, because she is also an Aster pilot, is the Great Adrenos, a hulking mass of steel that smokes at the joints, is a burning core of transmuted crystal that was made by her great grandfather and passed down through the ages to her, also requiring that magical sacrifice. So it is a very strong give and take between piloting the Aster and using the magic within. So, is there anything else I should add, Lauren? Or is that
No, I think that just about covers it. She's a very cool character who is probably going to be lighting a lot of shit on fire.
Oh, yes.
Here for it. So, Fab, why don't you tell us about Seisha?
So Seisha is an arcanist. She was a student at the Academy for Magical Arts, which is sort of a very different style of magic from the witches. At the Academy, you learn that magic is basically like there's a weave all around you. And in order to control magic, it's like you're reaching out and manipulating the strings of the weave. And it requires use of your hands. It's very, it's like playing a violin almost, plucking and weaving. And Seisha recently was involved in sort of a magical experiment with one of the maesters at the academy, and something went wrong. There was an explosion. The other students there passed away, and Seisha lost part of her left arm and was thus kicked out of the academy because, in theory, she was no longer able to manipulate the weave. So she and her familiar, Zuli, which takes the form of a raccoon, that can sort of manipulate its size at will, have been living in an attic in the Roads, which is the neighborhood where all of these magical academies exist. And making friends or reuniting old friendships. And she recently received a prosthetic that she has discovered she's somehow able to manipulate her magic through. And she has recently joined the resistance and been given an Astir called Serenity, which I believe I described it as if the flying nun in Rita Repulsa had a baby.
It's very good. It's very good, Mac.
Yeah.
Artwork in process. So she is just sort of struggling with her own sense of self and identity and trying to figure out where she exists in this world.
I think the next best place to go is the builder of Serenity.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about Cyril, Kit?
I'm playing Cyril von Jaeger. He is a artificer, which is a support type class. He is a builder and a maker of Astirs and other such machines. He works at the shop where Serenity was made. In fact, he was the one that actually made Serenity. The shop that it was made at was in the Forges Fire, called Von Jaeger's Astir Works. And it was owned by his family. Now he's the current owner of it, since his father was actually killed in an investigation by the authority into goings on in the shop. And that is why Cyril himself actually joined the resistance. He's generally seen wearing a tied up, very clean looking coveralls and some massive power gloves. He's rather buff and meaty looking. Could take down people think he could take down a bear, but he probably would run away.
Cyril is big and bad at fighting.
Yeah.
Big fan of Cyril, our gentle himbo. Is he a himbo? He's a gentle giant for sure.
He's more of a gentle giant. He knows what he's doing. He's smart in like what he knows. He
Right.
knows, but he's scared to hurt things. So kind of.
So that is Cyril. Let's get to our final crew member of the carrier Apollyon. Drew, there's a lot going on with Alexander Dumorn. Why don't you fill us in?
Oh Lord. So I'm playing Alexander Dumorn, who is the captain of the carrier Apollyon, and I'm just gonna go full weird. Nobody knows what he looks like because he wears masks all the time. He's strange. He's got he seems to talk to people that aren't there. Let me see what else is weird about him. I was distracted by Twitch for a second and I derailed my entire intro.
Oh, it's all good.
He is just a normal weird person.
A normal weird person.
You know, one of those. Vaguely.
And you muted yourself.
Oh,
while
you
you're
muted
talking.
yourself.
Wow, I'm off to a great start here.
This is the energy that Alexander's gonna bring to everybody. So
The weird energy.
Weird energy. Just get ready. I don't have much more. He belongs to a religious sect that the authority has tried to exterminate once or twice.
They've failed at doing that quite a bit.
They
So-
have.
I guess the follow up here is we've heard about the Astirs. Why don't you tell us about the carrier, seeing as it is your carrier?
Good point. So the carrier is the Apollyon, and it is if you could take a crab and then take all of its legs and put them sort of in front of it, like a giant chitinous spider monster. That's what the carrier looks like, and it kind of floats around.
Quit.
And it can move its legs if it's close to the ground and drag itself about. And it can go invisible, just to make that worse. And it
So-
gives off strange light. And it's very fleshy, like chitiny fleshy in that way. Like it's living.
Giant
Ooh.
invisible flying doom crab.
I just
Yeah,
got
there
a
you go.
text. I'm busy.
No,
Ooh,
can't back out now.
I'm getting a call. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, hey, girl.
Oh, hey Fab, what you doing right now?
Can't back
Oh,
out
you
now.
know
Doom
nothing,
Crab
I'm
is here
just
to stay.
chilling.
You know what's
Dude.
worse though? You all live inside the Doom Crab.
You all do live in the Doom Crab, captained by a man who keeps his face concealed at all times and speaks to things that seemingly aren't there, and crewed by Doom Crab cultists.
Yes, who also wear masks, by the
Who
way.
also cool. Doom Crab cultists also wear masks. Love it.
I don't know. I didn't. That wasn't explained in the waiver. That I,
Yeah, that TPK is looking really nice right now.
Yeah, you know, we just drive the ass.
Oh, I didn't
Yes,
realize I had to
Fab.
warn you that I was going to do something weird.
And we just hold Cyril in the hands of the Asters as we drive them into the ground.
Yeah.
I'm on board for this. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
We have a plan.
Mm.
We just link hands of the Asters and we just pilot them in the ground.
Yes.
And in between is Cyril.
Okay.
No,
So
there's no escaping.
the Apollyon is this very strange, large chitinous crab ship, upon which you all are, and the opening scene of our anime is sort of the big touchstone here, which is not a medium I play in a lot, but I'm definitely going to try and lean in. And the opening scene we get is the Apollyon rising as miasma sort of rolls off of its chitinous shell in thick, smoky waterfalls of purple and pink and blue and orange. As it comes up beneath a floating island upon which is a massive iron tower that is tethered to the main island of Calaveros. Or was it Cavaleros? Hold on, I gotta go look that up. I think it's Calaveros. It's tethered to this, which is probably an actual word, and I saw it somewhere. It sounds cool. It's got good mouthfeel. So the Apollyon rises up beneath this massive two massive islands. And this is the Iron Prison. This is where some of the most dangerous criminals in the city of Talanthus are held. This is where the authority, the Order of Parsoon, puts its political prisoners, its dissidents. And you have been asked to rescue from this prison. Sorry, pulling up my notes. You have been asked to rescue. Uh, it is Vicor, is what he calls himself. Vicor Daemon, is it Daimonos Dell.
Victor Deismon Dell.
Sorry, Deismon Dell.
Okay.
It's Deismon Dell.
Deismon.
Vicor Deismon Dell.
Is Vicar a title?
Yes and no. It is a title. It is one he gave himself.
I love it.
That's kind.
That's a power move. That's what
However, Vicar, sometimes just known as Vicor Dell or the Vicar, or just Dell to some people, is the leader of another faction in the cause, the Bell Boys. The Bell Boys, high upon the steeples and towers of the churches, the Bell Boys bind masonry and signal the passing of time with bronze chimes. They are hardy, they are lithe, and they hear more than most think. These parkour monks defy gravity and death daily to perform their duties and to expose the secrets of the corrupt orders whose bells they ring. This is a bunch of, like, the opening of the opening of The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes.
Mhm.
Imagine if like that was the aesthetic of a gang from the Warriors,
Yes.
Oh, hell yes.
and
Okay.
that's the Bell
Hell yeah.
Boys.
Hell
They dress like friars.
I joined their team.
They're on your team. You're on the same team.
But like, how do I get on?
Yeah,
team?
how do I
so, like,
parkour?
Yeah.
They specifically are like sort of embedded. This is a like religious function that people in the orders perform, is to climb the towers and to do the maintenance and bind the sigils that keep things running and ring the bells to signal the passing of time and certain events. X number of bell rings means this. If it's like, 3 bells at 7 a.m., it must be time for tea, if you're part of this order or something like that. And these ones in particular have basically, like, they are agents is the type of faction they are, which means they kind of like infiltrate and give secrets and do stuff like that. So they have like a special ability during downtime, which allows them to basically like disseminate this knowledge and increase the disfavor that people have with the authority. So these are, like I said, I called them the Bell Boys. I think it is definitely a mixed gender group, so I should definitely change the name there. But Bell Boys was just rad.
I wrote it in
like
pen
I said,
in my
they
notebook.
all kind of dress like friars. They're all like cool parkour monks who
Girls
definitely
can
do
be boys.
Girls can be boys. They definitely
What's up, boys?
the the daredevil thing of like, I'm just gonna jump and figure out how I'm gonna land on my way down. Because the city of Talanthus is a city that is built on top of itself. Our tags for it, which I don't know if I can find off the top of my head, were very good. I'll find that eventually. But it is a hungry city that has absorbed other cities and absorbed districts and built on top of itself. So it is very vertical.
I will find them while you talk.
Not to mention, it also changes a lot. The city reorganizes itself, and so these Bell Boys kind of act as like parkour couriers because they see it from up above and can do all sorts of cool shit. Anyways, you have been sent to rescue Deismon Dell, Vicor Deismon Dell, who is being transported basically to this prison, and they want you to get him out before he is taken in, because once he is in, you're not getting him back out. And this is really what I want to do here, is just a setup and give us a bit to introduce our characters and do some scenes, and not linger on this too much because it is going to kind of flow into something else. So we'll get there in just a second. But Knowing that that is your mission, you see the authority ship, the the Order of Parsoon ship, which is a long, it's called the Steel Saber. It is a long, sort of pointed, it curved, again, it looks like a big sword. It curves upward at the tip. It has not sails so much as fins on the side. And it is the traditional authority color, the traditional Order of Parsoon colors, gold and ivory. And it has just docked. It is transporting prisoners. So let's start with Dumont and what is the bridge, or I guess lack thereof, because the bridge is wherever he is based off your description. What is the attitude like around you? Describe the inside of the carrier, where you're at for us as we move into the beginning of this mission.
So as we're moving towards it, and the fanatics are moving up, like in orderly fashion, but they're coming up to Dumorn and speaking quietly, and he's telling them something, and they're moving off. The inside of the Apollyon is a living color. Everything is, it looks like everything on every terrible sci-fi show with living ships. It looks like that. It is gross and slightly wet looking. Everything is sort of lit by a red light that just comes from nowhere. I know that we don't like the word moist. I'm going to say it again just to bother Fav.
It doesn't bother me. Listen, it's not the worst thing I could have described it as.
But Dumorn is actually walking through these like rounded hallways and speaking with the religious faction as they move, and in the back of his head, almost just like moving an appendage, he is guiding the ship where he wants it to go.
Are there members of other factions present on the ship for this, or is it just your like the cultists of Apollyon?
Oh, it's definitely, there's other factions. They probably, I don't feel like they would have sent just the cultists of Apollyon to do this. But they are waiting most likely in the bay that will open to let Astirs and foot soldiers out.
What's the vibe from the rest of you? Like, give me a quick scene of like, okay, we're above the miasma, that the lights come on, and someone, I think probably whoever makes these announcements or whatever, your Dumorn's ensign is like, miasma cleared, T-minus 5 minutes till sortie engagement. Get yourselves ready.
So I think this is probably one of Seisha's first sorties. She is trying to make herself as small as possible in a corner, staying out of the way, trying not to touch the walls because they look kind of gross. She's pulled her braid over one shoulder and is kind of just like stroking it calmingly, while Zuli is sort of perched on the other, chittering in her ear, and she's just saying, I know. Yes, I know. We've made all the preparations that we can, and we'll just have to go with it. Yes, we'll just go with it.
It's then this. Sorry, getting my list of names here. Armo approaches you. Armo Ilian. Armo Ilian is who recruited you, correct?
Yes.
So Armo Ilian is a recruiter for the various factions of the cause, which we have just been calling the cause. I don't think the cause has a larger name, even though the authority, we called it the Order of Parsoon. The cause is literally just a bunch of loose cells that all have their own names that are working to the same end. I think we'll probably get a cool name eventually, and that will be rad. But Armo is this recruiter who has brought in both Seisha and Cyril. And Armo is like a tall. I don't know that because we played. I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic to sort of build out some world and some NPCs? But we didn't go into too much detail on.
He's got a man
Armo.
bun.
But he does have a hot pink man bun.
Yeah.
And is a like a lean, muscular-bodied African American man. And so Armo is like walks up. I think Armo at this point is covered in grease, suspenders like flipped, not suspenders, like overalls like flipped up, so that they've are just like lying down, tied around his waist maybe. And I think he like walks up and has just like a big fuck off wrench over his shoulder, right? And puts a good greased glove on your shoulder and is like, don't worry, we brought you on for a reason. You're gonna do fine.
I mean, if you have confidence in me, Armo, I suppose it will be. I mean, you're gonna see me off, right?
I'll be in the hangar bay when it opens. I got to do a final check on the Adranos, and well, we should be good to go. So, steel yourself. Get ready.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
She blushes.
We're doing important work. Don't forget that. And he like goes off to the hangar bay, to where Adranos is in the hangar bay. And is Farina there, or is Farina elsewhere? Okay.
No, she's definitely by the Adranos, and it's like her hands are glowing this like orangish glow, as if she's like assessing it herself, as like this like window has opened between them, and it's like she's scanning it and assessing it, and she's almost like giddy with excitement, just like coming to herself and just like and I imagine Incendus is like a little like a little ferret, like a fire ferret, like around her feet, like dancing around. Like he's like pretty chill, but I imagine this has got him like pretty hyped too, and she's just like
So Armo, do you have a relationship with Armo of any sort? Have you met him before?
I would say that probably just through the course of like working in the cause that they have like come in contact with one another. Yeah.
You've been a part of this longer than Seisha and Cyril. Do you predate Alexander? Or is he the oldest? Well, not oldest, but like most. What do you put it? Senior member of this faction?
Yeah, I would imagine that they roughly came around at the same time, probably when Farina was ready to inherit the Aster, because her father would have died much longer before she was ready to inherit the Aster. So there would have been time where she would have had to like grow into like the response of piloting it and knowing what it meant to inherit it. And then around that time, I imagine they would have come into the cause at the same time. So
gotcha. Okay. So I think Armo is definitely like anything need a tune up. You're more in tune with it. Is there a anything that you refer to? He probably just says you're more in tune with Adranos than I am.
Oh, I call it him, but I suppose you're right that it really doesn't have any sort of.
That was just
so
me. That was just me being like, some people call ships he's and she's. I don't
Right.
know. I just wanted to be like, yeah, how do you refer to it? If it's a he, then
It's
yeah,
a he.
Yeah, but he picks. He's picked up on that. It's like,
Then she says, "Oh no, everything seems to be perfect. He is ready to go. Everything is aligned and attuned.
Well, good. Wouldn't want things to be unaligned. Um, very much like I don't know what you're talking about. I just make sure bolts are tightened. And I think he goes, okay, well, if you need anything else before launch, just let me know. And then there is like a cultist, one of the Apollyon cultists, like walks by in the background carrying like a box, and he's like, hey, be careful with that. And then like Cyril, and like wanders off to where Cyril is.
And everybody
These-
watches him walk away.
Everybody watches.
Even
Cyril,
Verena
you're-
is just like,
Your
So
room
thirsty.
is nearby. Right, you have your quarters here,
Yeah.
which include your giant, weird, inscrutable destiny orbs. What's up? What are you doing to prep for flight here, or for the sortie?
So I have Serenity actually pulled into my little area, and I've got some like sheets covering its back, and I'm like I've got my head underneath, and I'm just talking to myself. No, it's not fitting. Maybe if I just and it's just some banging.
And Serenity is.
Serenity is Seisha's Astir.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought that my brain just fucking broke. I thought you were talking about your cool power armor.
No, my fists are. They don't have a name.
They're just
They're just
cool
my
fists.
Oh, actually,
yeah.
no. Actually, I think I did name them.
Your cool body power fists, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't. I got
Seisha's.
just cool fists.
So I think he comes in and goes, Serenity's good to go.
And you hear a big bang, and Cyril just walks out holding his head. Oh, hey. Almost. I'm just fitting her with something special.
Something special. Is this really the time for experimentation, Cyril?
When isn't it? How else are things gonna get like tested?
Fair point.
Field tests are the only good tests, and besides, I gotta make a name for myself. I
Sure,
do
Cyril.
make the best.
Well, you wouldn't be here if you didn't. And he like walks over and taps one of the big orbs. It's like, you never explained to me, where'd you get these?
They were already here.
Oh,
I think.
he's
I don't
like,
know.
I've never seen them before. Well, before you.
You see, I woke up and they were here. So,
Well,
I don't know, but they make
Um,
things look real pretty.
well, as long as they're not hurting anybody. Okay, make the final adjustments to Serenity. We got to get ready for launch. I'm sure Des Moines going to give the word any moment now. And so we kind of move to the beginning of the sortie, which is basically I just wanted a fun little seed of everybody getting ready for it. This game, much like our previous game, Band of Blades, and various Forged in the Dark games, has an engagement roll, which is fun. So as again, we got all these shots from inside, and we get the Apollyon climbing up out of the miasma to approach the Iron Tower. Everybody is ready to go, and let's see who is leading this sortie. Who is the person who is like in charge, calling the shots here, or is it planning it? Let me find out. Again, this is our first time playing Armor Austere, and it's a cool game, but I am not 100% on all the rules.
quick aside, Lauren. Should I have patron boons right now?
Oh, yes, that was the thing I wanted to ask. While I'm looking this up, Farina, roll your patron boons, and
Okay.
Sasha, get your rituals.
I rolled a 1 and a 4.
None of this will possibly go terribly wrong.
Let's see.
I am not sure if I'm even leaving the ship. So
This
I
is
get
great. Okay.
choose 2 rituals.
Oh, this is great. Okay.
Are the only rituals available the ones that were listed in the book?
Yes,
Or is that- okay.
I believe. If you want to, you can work on a long-term project to create new ones,
Okay.
which is like a thing you can do during downtime, which is cool. I don't know that that's an actual thing in the book, but I'm all about that. There's some heavy Blades in the Dark, Forge in the Dark influences, which also, by the way, for anyone watching, Briar, the Briar Sovereign, the writer of Armor Esther, also wrote The Brightest Things We Know Are Forged in the Dark, and it is a Destiny hack of Blades in the Dark and or the Forge in the Dark system, and it fucking rules. It's
Why
good
are we
as
not
shit.
playing that right now?
Because I was it didn't come out till after I started prepping this, Drew. Screw it. I'm gonna go download the PDF right now. We'll just create characters. It'll
We'll
be
just do it right now.
well,
Go
right
on.
now.
Let's go.
Scrap all this.
We'll just go do that.
I know we did a lot of setup, but throw it away.
Throw out all the setup, all the character creation, all the prep game we played.
I
Sorry
already
to
know
the
what I'm
7
playing. So
people watching. It is a seriously rad game though. Briar managed to somehow include Destiny having seasons and the you shoot enemies and they drop different types of loot into a Forge in the Dark game, and it fucking rules. Anyways, I found out how to lead a sortie.
Okay.
Is what I was getting at. So real quickly, Farina and Sasha, what are your rituals or boons and rituals respectively?
All right. So I got oh, sorry. Do you want to
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
So I got channeling boon. You may give your patron 1 influence to make a move with channel instead of the usual trait. When you do so, describe what mark your patron's power leaves on the situation. And I received the shielding boon. You may give your patron 1 influence to take advantage when facing harm.
Rad. That's cool. All right, Sasha.
I get to choose because I'm cool like that. I chose the adoption ritual. When I fail a roll, I can take advantage on my next one. And the contingency ritual specify 3 situations. If you find yourself in one of them, act with confidence. So I said, if Farina is KO'd, if the vicar is taken into the prison, or if we are surrounded.
Perfect. Those are very good.
Thank you.
I am excited. So how to lead a sortie when it's time for action, and it is. We're about to launch and move in here. When it's time for action, you lead a sortie. Decide who planned this mission and roll. So who planned this mission?
Not me.
I would say
Probably Dumorn.
Alexander.
Probably.
Yeah,
Dumorn.
probably
It feels like
Dumorn.
Dumorn, but I absolutely could. I mean, there's arguments to be made for any of you for sure. So Dumorn, you roll plus stake if a faction's help is vital to the sortie. You roll plus no if you're leading with wits or following a clever plan. You roll plus crew if it was someone else aboard, not you, but someone else on the ship.
Somebody else did it.
An occultist was just like, look, this is how you're going to do it. But it could also have been Armo or any of the other individuals here. Plus defy if you're just heading into danger blind.
I think those are all great ones. Man. I feel like this is stake.
Plus stake if a faction's help is vital to the sortie. And I'm not sure if it's I imagine it's got to be that faction in particular. So it's probably the bellboys, right? Like
Yes.
they're the ones who are like, look, our guy got captured.
Kinda
Here's
need
the
that
info
guy.
you need. We kind of need that guy. So the cause, how much stake do they have?
Did we write that down?
All factions begin with 2, except for those picked out during the cause setup. Cause setup. A faction has taken the lead and is shouldering most of the burden. They start with 3. 2 factions that are struggling and unable to contribute right now, they start with 0 stake. You guys are not struggling, or y'all are not struggling, and I don't think you're all the ones who have taken the. Are you the ones who have taken the lead? Let me ask you that. Are you the faction that is taking the lead? Because you
God,
within, and the answer can be no, and that's totally fine.
I feel like not for reasons that I discussed with you off the stream, but Dumorn
Yes.
is not great to have as a leader.
Which is you should absolutely be the captain.
Let me rephrase that: leader of a rebellion.
I think the 2 who are not doing well right now are the 2 who are not doing well right now are the Black Thumbs, which are a group of people in the Levworks who are the ones who like climb out and crawl around the bottom of the floating continent to keep all that machinery and magic symbol stuff working. It's an incredibly dangerous job. They are your despoilers. They are like the ones who go around and can like bomb shit and just really, really fuck stuff up, because they know all the routes and how to climb around inside the giant continent, and they also know how everything works. If they want to break something, they can break it. They're not doing great right now. They don't have a lot of numbers. The other ones who are not doing great are the Kabbalists, which are a group of demon binders who exist within like the shadowy underground of the city of Talantis, because demon binding is illegal under the rules of the Order of Parsoon. However, what is a demon? Well, it's kind of hard to say, because the Order of Parsoon just kind of says that's a demon. You can't summon that spirit. You can't deal with that one. But they can, of course, because their faith is strong enough. And so the Arcanate, one of their divisions, is allowed to summon and bind demons, which is how they get their cool Astirs, which you actually are about to see one. There's one here, which is like information you probably would have known or just assumed. There's probably going to be an Archon here. The Archons bind a demon into the core of their Astir and let it corrupt it. Because their willpower is strong enough that they can control the demons. So they all the Archons have the talisman Astirs that they have like purposefully let a demon corrupt. Which again, what is a demon? It kind of depends on what the order says is a demon, which tells you it's all bullshit. Because they suck. So those are the 2 that are hurting, and it sounds like the Bellboys are probably the ones who have like taken the lead, which is like why their leader got captured. So they're at a +3, which is good. I feel like that's a fun way to start this off too. Is just give you all some fucking like go to town, have fun.
Yeah.
So, but chances are, if this fails, things could go pretty poorly.
Why would you
curse us?
Yeah, why
We
would you put
already
that
have a
voodoo
curse.
on me?
Because
It's not like I want to murder everyone out there because like they ditched me.
I'm using physical dice. Are we down with that?
we don't have a roll 20. So this is casual.
All right, cool.
Welcome
We
to
don't have a
the
complicated
stream.
dice system.
It's cursed as all hell.
Okay.
You're the first one to mention the C word today.
If we even get this thing up and running, it's a miracle, let alone the dice.
That's true. I rolled a 9.
Is that a 9 and then add the 3 stake, or is that with the 3 stake?
That's with the 3 stake.
With the 3 stake is a 9.
So not a 10 plus.
Gotcha. So all right. So on a 7 to 9, the crew stumbles, misses something important, or is unprepared for what they meet.
True.
Don't blame me.
Neat.
What's the interesting thing here? Uh, maybe this is the moment where the important thing you missed is that actually I want to get your launch first and then we'll get to that. So this is what's Alexander being like, okay, launch time, I'm going to open up the hangar, y'all know what to do, let's go.
Yeah, Alexander appears in the hangar where everyone else is, and just everything goes quiet for a minute, as that's usually the sign that the hangar is about to open. And then the Apollyon thuds as it makes contact with this floating island, and the chitinous shell of the Apollyon just cracks open and then spreads, which lets everyone out.
Oh, you just straight up were like, boom, we're connecting with
Oh
the
yeah,
island.
no, it's
okay.
just like what's up?
It's not like airdropping. You're just like landing party.
Oh yeah, no.
Cool.
This sortie is not let's drop from a distance. This is just what is up.
So this happens very, very suddenly, and as the prisoners are being transported from the Iron Saber or the Steel Saber to the Iron Tower, I swear, sometimes I have really good names and sometimes I have really bad generic ones.
Mood.
So, Farina and Seisha, what is you're the only two with Asirs on this crew.
Girl
That's
power.
that is not true. Armo has one.
Here you go.
Armo's got an
Yeah,
S.
he did. He's
Um,
Step off.
Sure.
Armo's S tier
Your
is
childhood friends.
just like him, this kind of like bulky. Well, he's more like, I guess he's like lean and muscular, but his S tier is again that like kind of, it's like big shoulders. It doesn't have a head. Like the face or whatever would just be like on the chest, and then it just has like shoulders, and like that's where the cockpit is, and it just has like a big club. It's like a cool power club too. It's got like a big crystal generator in it, and he has the magic missile rack on one shoulder, and his is called. His S tier is called Dawn's Advance, and so like he's ready to go. What are your I'm launching phrases? When you launch your S tier, you say.
So mine is, may you embrace the flame of your heart's fire, and like running forward, shield, and like battle axe, and like bam.
I love that you are absolutely a shonen protagonist.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like
100%.
yeah, like you're going full anime. You got to go full anime.
You went full anime. What's Seisha's?
So I imagine the cockpit of Seisha's Astir a little like Rayerth-esque in that she's actually standing up. And she closes her eyes for a moment and says, "For honor and justice." And her hands reach out, and you see this like magical glow emanate through her left hand, which you see now is like this strange metal and crystal prosthetic. And as it glows, she reaches out, and it's almost like she's conducting as the Astir launches.
We get a shot inside Armo's cockpit, and his is like tubes and all sorts of switches and buttons and things. And he has like a radio that he pulls down. It's just, you know, like the one of the ones you'd have on like a vest or something. He pulls the radio down, and oh shit, I had it in my head and now it's gone. He says, Armo Ilian, Dawn's Advance, get ready for the sunrise, and punches like a throttle forward, and like boosters just shoot him down the ramp. And as the three of you burst out here, the line of prisoners who are bound in like chains are being they're being escorted. There's like guards on either side, and they're being taken to the Iron Tower, which has this like big wall around it. Atop the wall are like just authority soldiers. In particular, these are members of they run the prison here going down. They are members of the Order of Rectification of Injustice, aka the Redcoats, which are like what if cops had rapiers and dressed like red mages from Final Fantasy. And it sucks because I made them cops and then I made them look rad as shit.
You love to
And
hate
I
them. You love
hate
that.
Like, they look fucking cool. Like
to hate 'em.
unfortunately, they're like red mages have a cool outfit, but like they are definitely shitty cops. They're called the colloquial term is the Redcoats. Again, they have like red coats with like capes, and they carry rapiers, and they fight with like a form of like spell combat that is similar to like the close range spell sigils that you have, Farina. I think that's one of the item you picked. Regardless, like they do like close quarters combat spells, like little fireballs or like ice touches and things like that. And then they have the rapiers, and some probably carry ranged weapons. That's not super important for this. At the gates, there are two knights, which are like, hey, if you are a member of the Arcanate, which is what the Archons are from. They're one of the other divisions of the Authority. If you were a member of the Arcanate, but like you have not completed like all of your, it's part of your training is to basically be like, nah, before you can pilot a full-on Astyr, you got to go like pilot some power armor first and go be a knight and like go do guard duty. And so there's like two of those at the gate, and the thing you were not aware of, the thing you were not prepared for, is that coming out of the steel saber is two Astyrs and first it's two that just like come down the ramp, and then like this is all happening at once, and very much that anime moment of like what what stooping to fit through, specifically to fit their horns through the hanger, is the Astyr of Archon, or of Lucille Montress, Archon of the Dawn. I used Dawn twice in this. That's fine. Both Armo and Lucille have Dawn. That's great.
Listen, they all have the same style. Okay?
They all have
only
the same style. It's only like 5 names. So it's Lucille Montress, Archon of the Dawn, and her Astyr, the Heart of Labolus, which is the name of the demon she bound into it. Lucille Montress is I'm gonna ask, one of you has history with her. Who is it? To I guess fill you in a little bit more on the Archons. The Archons are the like best of the best from the College of Ascension, which is part of the Rhodes, where Seisha is like went to college. They're like, you passed all of your tests. You were on the dean's list. You're gonna go to like special cool college where we train you to be a military commander and a mech pilot. It's not good. It fucking sucks. But she's definitely like, I am a trained military officer and I know magic, cool, and I get to bind demons because my faith is good enough. So yeah, who knows her? Or has
she's a fucking legacy. Stuck up bitch.
My pull for her is absolutely, I think I think Farina, Kim might be the only one who gets this. She like, first off, that school is any one of the Arcanate is basically just like Carta Issue from Iron Blooded Orphans, and she is like the most like she is Carta Issue. I watched like 5 animes. Okay.
Listen,
there's no magical girls. I'm not
all
interested.
like some form of Gundam anime.
Look, if you haven't watched Iron-Blooded Orphans, you're missing out. Okay.
It's for every 2 steps forward, Iron-Blooded Orphans takes one step back half.
Are
the
there
time.
any transformation sequences? If not, I'm not interested.
So the other two are in the talisman units. These talisman Astirs, which are like they look like knights, but they got tall heads. Like there's a particular, is it X-Death? Is X-Death who I'm thinking of from Final Fantasy? Yeah. So if you look up X-Death from Final Fantasy, you can see like the head is like whoop, and then there's like a little visor slot.
Those of
and
you
then
listening.
they've got like broad shoulders. Again, I like broad. They're like broad sloping shoulders. They kind of slope down and just go straight into the arms. So it's not like it's just like whoop. And so those are the two out front, and then the Hearts of Libolis has like, instead of having that, the metal is like peeled away, and there is a just a skull that does not have a jaw, but it has 6 eye sockets, and then horns that just come up out the front, and it has like bone claws instead of like gauntlet hands, and its knees they bend backwards instead of forward, but it is very much like that should look like it just looks like a leg that was broken backwards, because the demons corrupt and change the Astirs. And that is so I think immediately Seisha recognizes this as Lucille Montresse, the Archon of the Dawn. Archons all have like weird fancy titles like that. There's like hundreds of them. Who, what does it even mean to be the Archon of the Dawn? You gotta go to Building A 4 times a week and file some paperwork. Who knows?
File some paperwork.
There's definitely Archons who are like much more important. Like there is definitely like, I am the Archon of Fear, and my job is propaganda. Like
what you're saying right now, Lauren, is that not only is the authority, which you gave a name that my brain is not,
the Order of Parsoon.
The Order of Parsoon. Not only are they fascists, but they're also bureaucratic fascists, which is the worst type of
kind of fascist.
Absolutely. They're
So
absolutely bureaucratic fascists. They full on suck.
So they're both.
We can stop their evil plan with like paperwork.
Yeah. So was I supposed to specify my history with her specifically, or was it just like, oh, I have some sort of history with her? Because
I just wanted someone to be like, this person, so it's not like, okay, we don't know who that is. And I think I like the idea that Seisha like went to school with her.
She may have been like a year or 2 ahead.
Yeah,
like
she was
the girl everybody wanted to be like.
Absolutely. And there's just like a moment where they freeze, and everybody is kind of like, what the hell? And Lucille draws her blade and like points it straight at you.
Might I open a volley, because I really want to just, even if it doesn't hurt anyone, just open with a volley from the fucking carrier.
She like starts to do a speech, and you just cut it off with gunfire.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Oh,
no dialogues.
Classic Drew, no dialogue.
No monologues. Yeah.
This is anime. You gotta let me monologue.
No.
Although I do like, maybe that's the trope. Nobody ever actually gets to, right?
No one gets to monologue here.
So she draws her blade and is like, oh, okay, we're under attack, and you just the guns pop out of the carapace. What happens?
No, so it's called Apollyon's Rage, and it's literally
Does it just open?
It's like it's basically I'll put this in D&D terms because most people here know that. It's basically just magic missile, just like on a massive scale. It's
okay,
just a psychic.
Like, one of the items is a battery of magic missiles. So
this is true.
I'm just fucking with you. No, the Apollyon's Rage is
just ranged, guided, and it says mounted, but it's just fired.
Well, yeah, it's mounted on the ship. I think so. And so here's the fun thing. You are a tier 5. Apollyon is a tier 5.
Yep.
The Astirs are tier 3. And then here's kind of a weird thing is I'm very open about what tiers are here, and that is that the talisman units, the like the neophyte archons that are piloting them, the talisman units are considered a tier 3 as well, but Lucielle is a tier 4. She fancy. She's an ace is what they're called. So archons are like tier 4. They're big and bad and difficult to deal with. And then like the Arcanate Knights, the people who are like guarding the front door, of which there's 2, those are tier 2s, and then there's like a squad of like whatever. And like this doesn't just have to be like a big fight. Like we don't have to do that. I'm just letting you know that like tiers are things, and how tiers work is when you're attacking someone of the same tier as you have to build up dangers on them. Once they have, depending on their rank, once they have a certain number of dangers, they become defenseless, and then you can use a different move to take them out. If you are attacking someone 1 tier higher than you, you have disadvantage unless you have a Bane weapon. If you're attacking someone 2 tiers higher than you, you just can't do it unless you can find a way to lower their tier, or you have a Ruin weapon.
Yeah.
If you're attacking someone of a tier below you, I believe it's any tier below you, you can just strike decisively and take them out. But that might be 2 tiers below you. I'll have to double check on that. But I believe it is just as long as they are a tier lower than you, you can just strike decisively to take them out.
What I was going to say is not necessarily taking them out so much as it's just constantly bombarding the battlefield. It's basically just artillery striking where they're going to be fighting.
Right. So is this less because you obviously don't want to, I guess it's guided.
It's guided,
you don't have
but
to worry about taking out the prisoners. But
yeah, but it's really more of a it's more of just like hey, this is something you're gonna have to deal with as well. It's just kind of to keep chaos going. So that nobody can really form up.
Okay, here we go. Take advantage when you are acting against something of 1 tier lower than you. If they are 2 or more below, skip exchange blows and go straight to strike decisively. So yeah, basically if they're 2 tiers below you, you could just try and wipe them out, which is like the carrier can do that, but the carrier is big and scary. And like it only has the 1 weapon, right? Well, I guess it might have other smaller weapons, but its main big weapon is
main big weapon.
Big weapon. Yeah. Okay, so trying to figure out, like, guided is this weapon has guided strikes or projectiles, allowing you to take a 7 to 9 result when you exchange blows and strike decisively rather than rolling if you wish. Guided projectiles are reliable, but they leave little room for finesse. Cool. So that like immediately missiles start raining, or these like you describe them as like red energy bolts.
Yeah,
right?
they're just red. Yeah, they're just like psychic red energy bolts.
They come out of the claws.
Just sort of out of the head, the face, the vague face shape of
Gotcha.
the crab
just
monster.
Like, wee, 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 wee,
yep.
Cool. So like those start like kind of hitting the battlefield, and this might be a little terrifying for Seisha, this is her first sortie. But for everyone else, I think it's just like okay, especially like Armo's like, on his little thing like. Don't worry. Trust Dumorn's not going to hit us. And I think he like boosts forward and starts engaging one of the talismans. He is engaging. He boosts forward to engage. What is their name? Arcanite Neophyte Robbins. Spelt Robinnes. And her talisman is the Mournful Dirge. So he like comes in and swings his big club, and she raises her shield to block it. And like he's engaging there. again, the battlefield is less a battlefield and more literally just a walkway that's pretty wide leading up to this tower, and you crashed into the side of it and got out. So what are you doing? Farina or Seisha or even Cyril, if Cyril's,
Yeah.
up to something.
Cyril was up to something.
What's Cyril up to?
So, Seisha's whatever radio device she has in her Astyr. I mean, Cyril would know.
Speaker.
Her
She
speaker,
needs both of her hands to cast.
her
so
speaker
it's,
goes off.
surround sound.
Swan, fists to Swan.
This is Swan. Over?
I've installed a prototype invisibility screen to the back of your Astyr. That should help in this upcoming battle. I'm pretty sure it should work. It'll work.
Should work.
It'll work. You'll be fine. Well, your Astyr will be fine. You should be
so
okay.
you've revealed what prototype you have made to an Astyr that you reasonably had access to recently. Choose two. Which two from the list do you choose?
I didn't have to disassemble anything else for parts.
Okay.
I want it to draw attention to me because I build the best Astyrs. We know this. It burns out at the end of the sortie instead of after one use. So, those are the two.
So that means the others are your invention does draw unwanted attention to you.
Yeah.
It is. I get how it's both wanted and unwanted because someone's going to be like, okay, they have a person who makes invisibility devices. Find them. And the other is using the upgrade is dangerous in some way.
Hit!
I've got what that is. I know what that is. So, unless you had something for that. Okay, cool. We'll see what happens when we get there.
Cyril doesn't even know.
Cyril doesn't have any clue. Of course.
As I said to Fav, it came to him in a dream.
As the destiny orbs will it.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you've radioed that over. With that information in mind, Seisha, what do you do?
I mean, I think Seisha is going to engage this invisibility field.
Cool. You're engaging this invisibility.
Does it
field.
cost me power to do that?
No, it does not cost you power. Because this is like a thing that Cyril was able to do like on your behalf. And so what I'm going to say here, I'm taking a look at the basic moves. To do something safely under pressure. No, that's not it. Just, no. Do something taxing with your power. That's not quite appropriate either. Oh, here's what it is. It just works.
Cool.
And the thing that could go bad is potentially as a result of another roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it like a switch she has to flip Cyril, or what? How does it activate?
Just through her magic. I made it.
Okay.
It's just kind of on there.
It's just
And
like a
magical
Like a backpack.
process. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you trigger it, and your mech is cloaked. It's invisible. Is it complete invisibility, or is it like Halo active camo?
It's active camo.
Okay. So you it's like all around you. And you can not totally act unseen here, right? Because it's active camo, but you just disappear from the battlefield. I think especially in this moment, like with all of these red laser bolts raining down on them, they're like, oh shit. They probably didn't even notice it. You're free to act. So yeah, I think looking down, you like even see yourself as invisible and like see straight through your mech to the ground below. What do you do?
So Do we? So the Vic is being transported, correct?
The Vic, yes.
The
Yes, the
Vic.
Vic, Vicor Dell, you can
Yes.
see him sort of in that like line. They have them chained up.
Okay.
And he's in a line of probably about 10 prisoners. And the guards who were like escorting them are now like kind of freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And the two knights who are at the door, one of them like pushes the iron door to the prison open and is like starting to usher the soldiers and the people in, as the other one yells, "Get the prisoners into custody. We'll handle this riffraff."
So Seisha reaches out through the comms and says, this is Swan. I'm en route to intercept. And their plan, because I'm gonna move through this, Farina and Armo are they're going to be like the full-on engagement, and Seisha's job is to sneak off and grab the vicar. So she pseudo invisibly heads off to try to grab him.
Yeah. And this is one of your contingencies.
Well, so I have a move called plans. Arcanists are
cool.
educated in the art of war. Whenever the party enters a dangerous situation, declare your plan to resolve it.
Okay. So your plan is you two go handle the big stuff and I'll get the vicar out.
And I'll sneak, yeah.
We're the punchy. She's the
Yes.
punchy.
Sounds good to me. What does that move give you? I'm pulling it up here myself.
If the plan is interfered with or prevented, I take the risk. If it succeeds, I advance a gravity clock with someone who didn't think it would.
Gotcha. And we don't currently have any gravity clocks on the table just because we are like, make them when you want to make them. So I think that's definitely a like, we can find out who didn't think it would succeed and
I mean, I don't think Seisha thinks it's going to succeed.
I don't think you can have a gravity clock with yourself, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This would actually probably be a rad way to establish Lucielle as a gravity clock with you.
Ooh.
Which might be
It could
fun.
be your rival if you want.
She
Yes.
definitely could be your rival, especially looking at some of your hooks. So maybe we'll move in that direction if that's how it goes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's your plan. Act on it. Are you just gonna run in and scoop the vicar up?
I mean, is it like a chain gang style? Like, is he attached
Yeah,
to
like
the
they're
others?
all chained together.
Well, so we're like big bad Power Rangers,
Yes.
and they're like little human.
You're like between 25 and 30 feet tall.
Okay.
Is how I'm imagining the Astirs in this.
Now, is this like a D&D invisibility spell where if I shoot my weapon, I'm invisible again?
I don't
based
know.
Based off what Cyril said, and what I know about the danger applied to this thing, no, it is like Master Chief active camo kind of thing. It doesn't end until the end of the sortie. Like you could just be invisible, but I know what the danger is, and that's fun.
So the prisoners are on like a walkway, and they're the doors that they're opening. As she's heading there, the Serenity is going to take out its force repeater blaster.
Cool.
And like pew 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 in between the prisoners and the door to try to create like rough terrain and chaos.
Nice. Cool. That sounds to me like weather the storm. Try to do something safely under pressure.
Okay.
Use Defy to dodge, tough it out, or strong arm your way through. Use No to make it through with quick thinking or the ace up your sleeve. This feels like No to me.
Good. That's my better stat. Oh, which dice am I gonna roll? All right. 2d6, right?
Yep.
All right. My No is +2. 7.
7. You succeed, but at some cost. So the cost here is, yeah, you absolutely shoot up the ground. What is your force repeater like? Is it like is it shoot big cool crystals or energy blasts or what?
Ooh. It's like Han Solo, like energy needles.
Cool. Yeah, it blasts the ground. Some of the dirt is just like glassed. I know it's not how glass works, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's like melted and just lasered.
Like when lightning strikes sand.
Mm-hmm. And you have these like craters in the ground there. But because of that, I'm gonna give you the danger. It is just a risk. So risks are like temporary. You can remove them in a couple of ways, whereas perils are more permanent and have to be removed during downtime. So the risk is going to be noticed. The one who's like holding open the door, trying to usher everyone in, is like sand and dirt and dust flies up. And he like, I think like definitely because these guys are like not even neophyte archons, right? They are like, congratulations, you've been accepted into the Arcanate. Here's guard duty. And the dude's like, oh no, sand's gonna get in my eyes. I'm in a mech. What am I doing? I'm using like power armor, right?
Yeah.
But he's like and all the people fall backwards, but the other one is like, wait, that had to have come from somewhere, and that one notices you, can see your active camo, and they are going to ready their shatter lance and charge at you. And we'll take a quick break from that for a second. I have to go turn the air off, or the heat off, because I am sweltering. So can we take a quick 5?
Are you glistening?
Yes.
Are you glistening, Lauren, and we can't
I
notice?
am. It's actually like knee pits swamp.
I mean, if you need to take your shirt off,
Gross.
that's okay.
No, nobody wants to
Oh,
see that.
Twitch.
It's Twitch. Do
Oh
not
yeah,
ban
sorry,
us.
no nipples.
No nips. Not on the Twitch.
Okay, so let's take a quick 5, 10
Okay.
bathroom break, yada yada yada, grab water and stuff. That feels like that is definitely an anime commercial break.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you get the like, and it's like Seisha like leaning up against Serenity.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? The
Yes,
like break cards
yeah.
in anime.
Zuli's
absolutely.
like in the
full,
air.
like the full
spread.
Metal Alchemist, like
Uh-huh.
wipes on the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Okay, so be back in 10.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back. Hi everybody. We're going to continue playing Armor Astir for probably another 50-ish minutes because some people got asleep. It's no longer sweltering in my office, but I did take off my beanie, so deal with my wet hair. I swear it's not greasy. I just look at it and I'm like, that looks greasy as shit. No, it's just wet. I got out of the shower and fucking hopped right on stream.
Might one say that it is moist?
It's moist.
Oh my God. Here we go.
Moist is a
Great.
good word. I don't know what you're all talking about. Anyways, this knight is charging at Seisha, or where he thinks Seisha is. But let's pop back over to Farina. Farina's the only one who hasn't really done anything in this bit yet.
Yeah.
So Farina, you followed after Armo, right?
Yes.
Cool. What are you doing?
So Bane weapons can attack one level higher, yes?
Yes, means you can attack a level higher without having to take disadvantage.
Cool. So as she is charging forward, because my Inferno gauntlets, which are sheathed, but they won't be for long, are Bane reload.
Rad.
I would like to sheathe the sword and battle axe, or sorry, the shield and battle axe that I have on the Adrenos.
Mhm.
And address Lucille and say, "What's your name again?" That's right, I don't care. And
Very Mikazuki.
yes, thank you. That's what I said I was going to do with to my fiance, and he was like, "Oh, you're just going Mikazuki then?" I was like, "Yes, that's what I'm going to do."
I don't care who you are. You're in my way. That's...
I don't care. And then I want to launch the motes of fire from the Inferno gauntlets. At
Cool.
her.
Is that like a flamethrower or a beam, or does the claws get hot?
Well, the so the description from the book that I've slightly modified for the Inferno gauntlets says, concentrated motes of fire slumber in the crystalline chambers embedded in these gauntlets and violently detonate on impact when fired. A devastating
yes.
weapon in skilled hands that know how to recharge these motes mid-battle.
So melee, area, bane, reload, dangerous. That's fun. So area means what area means is not only do they affect an area, but it means if you are fighting a group, so you could be like, oh, it's a group of Astirs or whatever. You are at disadvantage unless you use an area weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. But also it just means you're just spraying flaming fire everywhere, right? Like it's just tons of like fireballs exploding.
Yep.
That's cool. That's I wish I had like a better I should probably make myself like a GM screen for this because I'm trying to remember what all the tags do. What does dangerous do? Volatile or difficult to use safely. Dangerous objects invite dire consequences if not used carefully. Good. This does not sound like you're using it carefully to me. You just taunted an Archon and then decided to blast her. Love it.
Kneecaps.
Big,
the reverse kneecaps.
It is melee, so it does sound like you have to be pretty close. Like there's just like wrist shotguns.
Yeah. They're gauntlets like this.
Yeah, that's this thing is sick. This thing is fucking cool. Yeah, they're Bane, so she's a tier 4. You can hit her. So you've got to go dig them holes. Exchange blows. You can use clash or talk. This is both the like I'm gonna fight you move and the I'm gonna debate you move.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's good. It's really good. Same with strike decisively. So yeah, exchange blows. Use clash.
I would. So since I have the channel boon, you may give your patron 1 influence to make them move a channel instead of the usual trait. So can I use my channel boon to roll a channel instead?
Absolutely. What does giving your patron influence A look like and B do mechanically?
So since she's in the Aster and she's piloting it, and I think in this moment since she's connecting to the magic that has been woven into the steel for the creation of the Aster, she's connecting not only to the magic of her patron Flaris, but also the magic of her ancestors that have piloted it. So it's like flames, almost like the embers, like on like magma, or like crackling up through the metal, like and up her arms as she's connecting to this, and allowing her to like infuse her magic more fully into the Aster. And so this allows me to roll with channel, and so I give him influence. I give Flaris influence in this moment, and then for the channeling boon, when I do this, I describe the mark that my patron's power leaves on the situation. I imagine that the like plasma fireball that erupts, instead of it being like a usual like orangish color, is now sort of this like purplish blue, because like blue fire is like hotter, like it's
Sure.
burning more strongly. So I roll a channel.
And as long as your patron has at least one influence, your channel is set to
+3.
+3.
So, yay.
And then I get to spend, I found out, so for everyone else, I found out what it does. I get to spend the influence as hold to act against or for Farina, really. Some of these are beneficial.
Yep. So it's a give and take. So now I get to roll. Exchange blows with a +3. So I rolled a 7 + 3, so that's a 10.
A 10. Okay, exchanging blows on a +10. Thank you, Fev, for making this basic move sheet. It's rad. I'm sorry, I just did not have time this week. Opponent takes a risk, or you take a risk and put your opponent in peril. So what is it?
I will say I take a risk to put them in peril, because I think since the weapon is dangerous, there's like some kickback on me, but it's a pretty powerful weapon that I'm launching at them. So I would say that the kickback on them is
okay. So the risk I'm going to give you is blast back.
Okay.
It's just like the smoke and fire that pours out of the back ends of the gauntlet as you fire scorches the outside of your mech. I think we can probably see that this isn't the first time this has happened, right?
Yeah.
You've got those burn marks all up the arms. But the fire melts away one of the horns and part of that skull. And she is going to take the peril melted. We get a shot of the inside of her Aster, and Lucielle has it is like white hair, but like the bangs, like she has like 2 sections of her bangs that come down like frame her face are dyed like orange, and she has on like orange, how do I put it, there's like a V on her lips, like orange lipstick. And she's wearing the like white, like crisp white suit with gold edging and a blue and silver cape of the Arcanate. And like we can see in her cockpit, it's just like red, and there is like a heat gauge that is like going up, and she like twists a thing and hits some buttons, and then like pulls a lever, and there's like a and outside her mech is just like steam shooting out of every vent and joint. And she is like inside, we can see that she like her makeup is like melting off, like it is hot, she's red, she is like basically sunburned, she's got heat stroke or something. And she like the speaker or whatever on her mech comes over. She says, "You absolute reprobate, you will pay for that, I assure you." Your fire may be hot, but it is nothing compared to my blade. And she unsheathes her, or I guess she already had her blade unsheathed, so she like takes like a cool like stance, and rushes at you, just blade ready to go. FYI, this is something that I don't know that you who here has fought the Arcanate before? Has anyone?
I mean, Seisha technically was in training for the Arcanate.
Right. Seisha was in
Dumont
the training,
has.
and Dumont has. So Dumont and Seisha, here's something you know that Farina does not. That is one of the Arcanates. What do they call them? What did I call it? That is one of the Arcanates. It is a Force Blade. It is a tier 4 weapon with Bane.
Oh, fuck.
So the thing is, I'm not positive on the rules, so I'll look this up. I don't believe Bane allows you, makes your weapon count as higher when striking someone lower than you. It just allows you to punch above your weight, not punch down better. I believe. So it doesn't mean it's gonna like fucking wreck you, but like there's an immediate moment for Dumorn and Seisha where it's like, oh shit, that thing, it will kick the shit out of you. It is in this case it is just a hilt, and then from the back of the hilt is like a single long bone, and it's very thin, but there is like the blade itself is made from like red electrified blood that like drips off of this long pointed bone. That demon did a number on her, Aster. Let me tell you. So she's charging at you with that.
This is when Farina's going to pivot and like grab the shield and battle axe to try and like parry with the shield and then like counter strike with the battle axe in that moment.
Cool. Roll to weather the storm, to do something safely under pressure.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll with Defy.
Yeah, this is Defy for sure.
And my Defy is a +2. Ooh, I rolled an 8 with a +2, so that's 10.
Awesome. You managed to make it safely. I mean, this blade, like from the perspective we see, this is the moment where it's like her going, then we hear the like shing clang, and then we get the like the low angle shot that's just the still of your shield just taking the blade. Blood, like electrified blood, splashes over it and then like bubbles back and reforms on the blade, which is now like not sawing, but it is like dented your shield. That she's like I think like we get the shot of her in her cockpit, and she's like, pushing levers down, gritting her teeth. She's like, you're quick, but you're not as quick as an Archon. You will die. Does anyone else want to take an action here? I want to pivot back to Cyril or Dumorn before we see what go back to like the mech fight. I mean, we've been off you for a hot second, so let's see what it looks like. What have you been doing during this time?
Can
I
I
my moves right now?
can
Sure.
I jury rig a cannon?
Baby, what? What is that? What is the goal? What do you want out of that? Is my question.
I want to fire a cannon down at them.
You can't just fire a cannon at people.
You're firing multiple.
Smile in response.
Fire a cannon down at them. I think the way this works is the carrier technically only has one weapon, and it is the cool big
Yes,
one.
I have a move called jury rig. Where I can
Okay, cool. Yes.
take
All
random
right,
objects and attempt to create something useful out of them. And I want to make a cannon.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Okay. If that's the case, I was trying to figure out where we were,
Yes.
how we were getting there. I wasn't saying no. I was just like, how can we get to this
Yes.
place? So jury rig.
I want
We
to
take
make
random
a
parts
cannon.
objects. Yeah. Cool. So is this like we see like the hangar bay open? It's like, oh shit, there's an Archon. This is not going how we thought, and Cyril just immediately starts flying into action.
Yeah.
An
Cool.
anime cutscene moment of like there's a smoke cloud and Cyril like jumping around everywhere. There's like duct tape flying and just
Duct tape.
Wrench
Works
noise.
every
Oh,
time.
I was gonna
Wrench
ruin. I was going
noises.
to ruin it.
Give me the roll, Cyril.
Okay, so that's plus no.
Yeah.
That is a 10.
A 10. Choose
Yeah.
3, which I guess is all of them. There's
3.
only 3 options.
So it fits the
Oh no, it
purpose-
just didn't wrap for me.
Oh. I only see.
If you double click it,
Oh,
it'll
okay, there's- so
open
there's
up.
4.
Yeah.
So it fits the purpose you had in mind. Stops working after
It's a
hours,
cannon.
not minutes. Doesn't explode when it stops working. I don't care what it looks like for this. no one else
Of course.
from the battlefield is gonna see it. It's just up here. I don't care about looks. So it doesn't explode. It stops working after hours because I don't know how long this is gonna take. And it fits the purpose, so it's a cannon.
It's a cannon. It's I'm gonna say like you made a tier 3 cannon. Or it's probably a tier 2 with Bane, right? Like you jury rigged. What is this made out of? What did you find and use?
Bits of Astirs that have come back that weren't usable again. Parts of
Just went to the spare parts bin.
whatever that are just laying around. Some
Love
guy's
it.
coffee mug, probably mine, and some like really shiny gloss from off of those things.
Gotcha.
'Cause I can't
So
not-
do we just like see Cyril walk down the ramp in his service ardent power armor carrying a fucking cannon?
Yeah, it's just like this massive. It looks like a bunch of garbage cans almost, just like strapped
Uh-huh.
together, basically. And he just like stands and just takes aim.
Cool. Yeah, I think this takes a bit for you to get there.
Yeah.
So because you got to make it, and we'll get to that in a second. I want to touch base with Dumont and then Seisha, and then we'll hop back to you being able to fire your cannon. Because it's rad. Cyril's just like, shit, I gotta duct tape some highly volatile stuff together. Dumont, I think your cultists on the bridge. It feels weird calling them cultists, even though I know that's what they are.
They're definitely
Um,
cultists. They're 100% cultists.
Yeah, the one is at like a crystal terminal, and like the projection in front of them, they're like readings on all battlefield Astirs nominal. Seisha and Serenity moving in on target. And there's like a bellboy behind you who's like who's definitely like what's his name? Their name. I'm gonna say they're they them, and their name is their name's Killian. Killian Freese. Killian Freese is a cool name. Killian Freese is they them, big, tall, gaunt, easily like the tallest person in whatever room they're in. And Killian is like standing over your shoulder and is like, "What are they doing? We are here to rescue the Vicar, not start fights with the Arcanate. This is a battle we won't. Maybe we will win it, but it'll cost us more resources than cutting our losses and running once we have the prize. Get your people to do something, Dumorn."
Dumorn turns a slow look at Killian. Because Killian, correct me if I'm wrong, is a member of this cult, yes?
No, sorry, Killian is a bellboy.
A bellboy. Okay, sorry. I missed
Because
that.
you said there were other people on board, and the bellboy is the ones who planned this. So Killian is one of the bellboys who's on board.
Okay, I just missed the bellboy part, so that's on me.
I may have not said it, and I
No,
apologize.
you might have. I missed it. I'll take the blame for that. So Demorne looks at him and then turns back and looks at Farina and the Archon and focuses on the Archon and just launches like the next like two waves of attacks go directly at the Archon.
Just
I'm going to attempt to hinder her.
Okay. Gotcha. So you're basically just like putting her on the back foot.
Oh yeah.
Cool. They get advantage to help or disadvantage to hinder same, but you become entangled in consequences of your actions, possibly curse them.
And I'm acting with confidence because I have coordinator.
So coordinator is you get that when you.
Oh wait, sorry, that's only with help. Never mind. I take that back.
Okay. This feels right here. I believe help or hinder is the appropriate move. I'm just gonna look it up in the book real quick to see if there is something I might be missing. But give me the roll.
All right.
Coordinator does apply to hinder.
It does.
When you roll 10 plus to help or hinder and choose to help. Okay, you're correct. I'm dumb.
First time playing, it's fine.
All right. That is an 8.
So this is on a 10 plus, they take advantage to help or disadvantage hinder their roll. On a 7 to 9 as above, but you become entangled. So it's I feel like the way this is actually supposed to work now that I'm looking at it is you are hindering Luciel, but the way that plays out mechanically is you are helping Farina.
Yes.
So you would because hinder is for player characters, giving them disadvantage on a roll. It's the aid or interfere move from like Dungeon World or Apocalypse World, where it's like, I don't want you to do the thing you're doing. So like the way this works is just you're doing it, absolutely. But you're just giving Farina like advantage to push her back, or do you want to roll something different here?
No, I just want to give Farina advantage, and I say that because the book specifically says that the carrier weapons are too slow to actually fight Astirs with. So it's not that it's not that they would necessarily hit the Archon, but they're just like so concentrated that it's blocking her immediate path to hitting Farina with that weapon.
Yeah, sure. Especially because they're guided, right? Like,
yeah, they're guided.
So all of these red psychic blasts come in, and she's like, "Oh shit, I have to back off," and like pushes away, giving Farina room to breathe, which is helping for sure. So you do get advantage on that because you're choosing to help. So you can do the advantage part, which I believe lets you roll 3d6 and take the two highest.
I believe so. Let me roll another d6.
Which I'm gonna. Check.
Wait, no. When you act with confidence, I think there's something else with confidence.
You're right. So confidence, and desperation, and advantage and disadvantage use. Like confidence, desperation used to just be better versions. Because I was reading an older edition at one point. So, confidence. You treat any dice result of 1 as a 6 instead.
Oh well, I got no 1s. So.
Okay. So you're just implicated in the results of Farina. You basically like you have advantage on this next move. So let's cut back to you, and then we'll do Seisha and Cyril. Because we don't have things flow from the fiction. So like, yeah, the Killian just says that, and you just look, and hellfire is raining down around Farina and Seisha, and sorry, not Seisha, Luciel. And so like Luciel sees this coming and like kicks backwards off your shield and is like slashing these things out of the air, creating a shield of like blood blade around herself. It's leaving these like cool streaks of electric blood and that like slashes through these red projectiles. She's definitely on the back foot now, so you can act with advantage against her. I think that's a fine way to put that out there. So
cool.
what do you do?
So would I be able to strike decisively in this moment, or would I still be
She
exchanging
does
bl-
not have, so she is a main character, which means she needs
Okay.
3 dangers. You did
Okay.
give her a peril, so that means she has to like spend downtime recovering from it, but it also means she can't just be like, I guess like the big advantage is I can't just like make a move to have her recover from it.
Yeah.
She can't just be like, because risks are like temporary things, like we
Yeah.
have the low ground in a fight, or the sun is in my eyes, or
Yeah.
or in your case, like my arms are scorched, maybe joints don't work super right now.
Yeah.
But like perils are like she can't just get rid of that.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Then since the whole purpose is trying to give Seisha enough time to get the vicar and move back, so trying to keep the main attention. I'm, while she's still distracted, making this shield for herself from the like the cannon fodder. Farina's gonna run in and try and strike with the battle axe.
Cool.
Just try and get her in the midsection.
Gotcha. Give me that exchange blows using clash, and you are going to be having advantage here. So roll an additional die, take the highest 2.
Okay. Now I can use boons multiple times a day, right? It disappear at dawn.
Yes, I believe that is the case.
Yeah, but it says they last until dawn.
So which boon?
I'm still going to use the channeling one to give my patron.
Patron 1 influence to make a move with channel instead of usual trait. We do so. Describe the mark they leave in the situation. Cool.
So it's just, I imagine the battle axe becomes coated in flame as she's like swinging it. So it's like this trail of fire as she's swinging the axe with the Adrenos.
Cool.
So roll with a +3. And one fell on the floor. I just grabbed another one. So the highest 2 are a 3 and a 5. So that's an 8,
okay.
3 and 11.
Yeah. You inflict a risk on her, or you can take a risk yourself to get a peril on her.
I'm gonna take a risk on myself to do a peril.
Oof. Okay.
I know I'm close range, but I am trying to.
This is good because this is an intense fight. That axe comes up and just hits in the side of the mech, and you pull it out, and literally like the hydraulics of her mech are blood. And it pours over your axe, steaming and boiling. And she just reels backwards, gripping the side. And she's like, definitely just like, what are you? You demon witch. I will exorcise you. You won't walk away from here. And then like drops down to a knee, and the magic missile battery on her shoulder just comes up and goes boom, 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 boom. It just hammers you in the chest. And you're going to take the risk off balance as you begin to fall backwards. And the camera zooms through that to the Arcanate Knight, now just like wildly slashing at the air, trying to hit Seisha, who is invisible. And like we see from his scanners, like again, he's not nearly as tall as you. He's like 12 feet tall, right? You're like 25 to 30. And he's just like, oh, he doesn't have an axe. He has a lance, right? So he's just like, yeah. And like it's still in the way. You have to kind of dance around it. It is a problem. Again, your risk is noticed. So what are you doing, Seisha? You've got Farina just given as good as she gets to Luciel. These things are hammering around. And I think like this is the point where maybe there's your scanners, or you have like a rear view mirror or something, and you see Cyril walk down the ramp with his big fuck off cannon.
God.
What do you do?
So I imagine there's chaos. And I think it's sort of like Serenity has the blaster in one hand and is like shooting at the guard, and the other hand extends out, and like a hatch in the palm opens up, and out comes bounding a little raccoon.
Okay.
And the little raccoon is going to go running for the vicar.
Ah. The vicar, by the way, is face cast as Dave Bautista, but with like little pince nez glasses. Is that how you pronounce that?
I don't know the English pronunciation.
The tiny little ones.
Yes.
Those like just lines.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just got that like just sitting on his nose, but he's huge. Like this is like one of the biggest dudes you've ever seen. Just absolutely massive, bald, and he's just like scrambling around as the guards kind of like jerk him left and right, trying to get them past your blaster fire that's just chewing up the ground. So what is your familiar doing here? Is there a move, or is this just like, yo, go help out?
So we didn't discuss if the familiar can act as like an extension.
Well, they are a physical manifestation through which you channel magic, through which you channel the weave. That's how you and me kind of talked about it. Familiars are all magic people have familiars, and that is not the only way you could do magic. That's just the way the Arcanate or the Order of Parsoon attempts. Pardon me, I have been drinking a lot of sparkling water, and I am burpy.
Icy water gets you every time.
The Order of Pursuit and the College of Ascension is like, no, if you're going to do magic, you need to have a familiar. And part of that is so they could be like, look, we can keep tabs on people because familiars are unique to some degree. But also, like, they used it to create an artificial magic caste system where it's basically like, oh, if you don't have a familiar, well, then you're not a real mage, are you? And it's like, literally, there are like underground mages who are like, I have a staff. It's the same fucking thing. But it's a status symbol. So, and it's part of how they control social life. It fucking sucks. I mean, again, these people are literally garbage fascists. So I haven't actually talked about what Lucille's familiar is yet. We might see it. It's kind of terrifying.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, imagine.
So Seisha and Serenity are basically like laser whack-a-moling with the guards. And while that's going on, Zuli is like running across and like shrinking as he runs, so that when he gets to the vicar, he's like the size of a mouse and can just scurry up his pant leg to sort of point out to the vicar that there is an opening and an austere waiting for him.
Gotcha. You said there's an opening and an austere?
Well, I mean, like, the austere is creating the opening.
Yes. Okay, I get what you mean. I was like, shit, do you have a backup, like, vicar austere? Is this dude a mage? That's rad as hell.
No. But
so this, to me, feels like weave. You're doing something with your magic that is taxing, which is like, I need to extend my familiar out there and, like, also while I'm piloting my cool mech, control them. So yeah, roll plus channel for me. The cool thing about weave is it seems just like you just fucking do it. Failure is like, it still happens, but bad shit goes down.
Okay. Oh boy. 9.
You succeed, but your invocation is twisted in an unexpected and dangerous way. Oh, here's what it is. I love it. As you are like guiding your familiar there, we get this shot of like Dave Bautista in a friar robe, like arms like just absolutely covered in like little tattoos. It's a specific style, and I don't know what it is of like tattooing, but he's like got a tiny lantern here and a dagger and a skull and a church bell and like all sorts of little things. And then in between that is like vines and birds, and he just has 2 full sleeves. And like this mouse, like it's blue, right?
Yes.
The little blue mouse like crawls up his friar thing, and he's just like, "Little one, I assume you're here for me." And like, you know, chip, 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 looks up there and he's like, it's time to go then, and just goes and breaks the shackles, and like grabs the mouse, because he
raccoon.
needed
He's a teeny tiny raccoon.
He grabs the tiny raccoon, and is just like, I think he looks at all the other prisoners and is like, "You won't be forgotten. We'll come back for you." And like pets the raccoon and just starts like head down, ducking and weaving and dodging. And then inside we see Seisha conducting, and blue electricity shoots off your fingertips and like arcs through the prototype that Cyril built on the back of your mech. And in that moment, you're like briefly stunned, like locked up, and the shatter lance goes straight up into your cockpit, but it goes through you. You're not there. You're like, what the fuck? Cyril's device shunted you into the ethereal plane. You're not just invisible, you're just not here anymore either.
Oops.
Armo? Armo, I think something went wrong.
It's like staticky, and Armo is just like going, you know, toe to toe with this person. It's like, Seisha, can't hear you. Like clang, clang, clang. It's like, Farina, Demorn, what's up with Seisha? And then we cut back to Cyril as you're coming down the ramp. We got about 10 minutes left, so let's endeavor to wrap this up. I think we can. The vicar is just like holding this tiny raccoon, fucking sprinting, leaping, and like, okay, we're good to go, little buddy. We're good to go. Cyril, what's up?
Cyril walks down the ramp to like the very edge and plants his foot and takes aim at Labella and just lets off this like massive blast of energy, and this tiny explosive just launches at her.
Like the backlash is just like woof, and we get a like beep.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, roll to. So this is like a tier. This is like I said, I think a tier 2 weapon with Bane. So you're rolling at a disadvantage here because she's an ace. Like she's cool as shit, right?
Okay.
Lucielle was the one you were targeting, right?
She snores.
Oh yeah, sure. I don't remember. I thought that was her name. Yeah.
No, so because the other one was and I think you might have accidentally combined the 2 names, was Robbins.
Yeah.
So are you shooting at Robbins?
No, the big one.
The big bitch. Okay.
The big
cool.
one fighting Farina.
Sorry, I shouldn't call her that. She's Carta issue. What do you want? She's fucking awful.
She's the HBIC.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, fire. You have disadvantage on it, but you can still affect her.
What am I rolling?
Oh, you're right.
I have a list of shit.
This is so the basic moves are in our character keeper document. Fav made them. There's a tab for basic moves. It's rad. Thank you again, Fav. The move you are rolling is exchange blows. You're rolling with Clash.
Fuck.
This is not going to be great.
Okay.
But who knows? Maybe, hey, look, if it doesn't go well, you get spotlight. No one is. No one has failed a roll yet. So.
That would have been a good roll. And I'm doing exchanging blow.
Yeah, exchange blows.
Okay. With Clash, my Clash is a -1.
Okay.
And I take the worst of the 2 dice.
The worst 2 of the 3. Yeah.
So that is still an 8.
Still an 8. That's good.
I rolled a 6, a 5, and a 4 though. So it would have been
Could have
really
been
good on
better.
Mm.
As an 8, you and your target are forced to take a risk. So here's the cool thing that happens. What's that explosive do?
So it's like a small little like bead. And
Okay.
it's a words are failing me.
En français?
I can't think of the words in French. Not
That's
a,
the worst.
Not,
You're
it's not a
you're
timed
bilingual. You can't
explosive.
think of the word in any language.
Usually it'll come with. I do most of my thinking in French. It'll usually come to me in French, but this time it's just not. It's like a timed explosive, but it's delayed. It's a delayed explosive.
Delayed explosion. Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. So it should land, and then like after like a minute, then it'll explode.
Like a full minute, or just like a beat.
Like a beat.
Okay. Cool.
So
So it just like
it's not explode on impact. It's like
yeah, it's like it just slaps onto her chest. She's like, I think like looks up, and Farina probably knows. Oh, Cyril fired something. Steps back, and then there is just like a, and she only takes a risk for this one. But she is now defenseless. You can strike decisively against her if you want to. But like it's just I'm gonna say blasted. She's just like falling backwards again. Both of you, because you were already off balance, so both of you were just like explosions between you, knocking you away. Cyril, you're gonna take the risk.
Can I suggest one?
Yeah, absolutely. Please, if you have a risk, suggest it.
I was on the edge of the
Oh no,
Mm-hmm.
kid.
Hanging by a thread.
So hanging by a thread, like it's not a peril.
Like
it's a situational.
oh,
I like the idea
I'm hanging here.
of like, oh no, and you knocked yourself down, and you're like shit. So yeah, hanging off the edge is fine. But like it's a thing you could easily overcome with a roll.
Yeah, I do have like my power gloves.
So. Right, so you could probably just lift yourself back up. Cool. So I'm good with that. The Vicar is like booking it. He is getting in there. Does anyone else have a move they want to make? I think at this point
have a move, but okay. I do want to say that at this point, Dumorn's voice comes over everyone's like communication device. Sure. And
which I love because everyone has different methods of communication, and Dumorn is just standing there speaking.
Yep, Dumorn just doesn't even raise his voice. Departure in 5 minutes. Be aboard or be left behind.
Killian is definitely like waiting at the ramp / giant crack in the crab chitin of the ship as the Vicar approaches, and he like grabs him and pulls him in. And he's like, "Good to see you, sir. Glad we got you out of there." And he's like again just petting the little raccoon. And I think he's like, "You went with them. Not who I would have chosen. It's gonna be a big mess to clean up. Little friend. Thank your master when she gets back." And like sets him down. And he's like they like retreat into the crab. And so I think like we see that I think Armo is like kicks this other austere in the chest, and we can hear like the Robbins inside is like yelling. The other austere is like has been like trying to shoot the Apollyon but does not have a weapon that can. He has like a big repeating crossbow. What I mean is he has like a Gatling cannon that fires steel spikes.
Yes.
And they're just like either embedding in the chitin and doing nothing or plinking off of it. And like some people are getting the rest as prisoners in. It's clearly like kind of winding down here. But Armo like kicks Robbins back and is like, "All right, Farina, wrap it up. We're out of here. No need to linger." And like turns and is like just like kind of smashes some earth with his big club and knocks the clumps into Robbins, who is like, I can't see. He's like, they are more tied to the Astirs than like the dudes, the knights who were like, that's reflex. And he just like starts boosting away back towards the ship. Farina, Seisha, Cyril, Dumorn, anybody. Cyril's gonna be fine. It's just a risk, so you could get there. But you're probably in a bad spot to act. And again, we're just moving towards the 10-minute mark here, so I want to kind of wrap this up.
If Seisha's on a different plane, can she pilot her Astir?
Yeah, no, you and the Astir just moved to a different plane.
Okay.
Which is the peril. I'm giving you a peril for that.
Okay.
And the peril is, I'm going to call it shunted.
Okay.
Which is great.
I know what I want to do, but I want to go last.
Okay, so Seisha, let's open up back on you.
Seisha is going to just make her way back to the carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And as she does, she's going to call over comms. Cyril, I don't know what you did, but I really hope you know how to undo this because I don't feel too good.
I'm nowhere near my radio.
You just like hear that coming out of the radio that's like on the ledge above you. Is like, fucking little busy. But yeah, no, nowhere near the radio. Can't respond. Cool. So I mean, Seisha, like, I guess at this point nothing could stop her, but she also can't affect anything, right? So she can just get on the carrier.
Yes.
So Farina.
I imagine after the blast back, like Farina recovers a little more quickly. So she only has like the wrist, but Lucille has like all the.
She's got 2 perils and a risk. You have 2 risks.
But she hears the call to retreat, and she just like levels her battle axe towards Lucille and goes, "This isn't over, Bonesaw. I'll be back." And like wings of fire like sprout from the Aster, because one of my moves gives me transmutation and versatility, and I can make the Aster go aerial, and she just flies back towards the Apollyon and then boards.
Cool. Cyril, you're hanging off the edge below the ramp. What are you doing? You just saw the weird active camo Seisha like book it on after Dave Batista booked it on, and then Farina with wings of flame. Oh, and Armo. So yeah, what's Cyril doing? Nobody knows he's down there.
I'm gonna cool off and try and pull myself up.
Yeah, cool.
So whatever
that sounds good to me. Cool off is
whatever
declare
seems appropriate.
Declare a risk you want to get rid of when you have a moment in safety, and I think this is no one's focused on you.
Yeah. And
whatever seems appropriate. What seems appropriate? I
hear a cat.
That's my cat. Yes. Defy seems appropriate.
Oh, I'm like, yeah, defy does seem appropriate. Fuck. That's a 3.
Oof, a 3.
Have some spotlight.
Yeah, have some spotlight. Take a spotlight. What I think this is let's see. Cool off. As above, but your moment of safety is interrupted. Erase a risk or untick overheating. It's not even it's I'm gonna upgrade that risk to a peril. And it's like if you'll allow me, I'm just gonna close out this episode pretty much, if that's cool with everybody. Dumorn, what happens when you say we're leaving, let's go?
So the carrier the hangar starts to shut and eventually closes, and Dumorn quietly speaks from where he's standing, just says brace, and the carrier drops towards the miasma. And as it goes, it begins to cloak into invisibility again. And once it gets below the clouds, it like slows down and moves off.
And this is the moment where, again, that radio sitting up above you, Cyril, you hear Dumorn say brace, and you know what that means. And you let go and land on the carrier hard as it descends into the miasma, and you're going to take the peril hacking cough.
Oof.
Sweet.
Which is when one of the cultists is like, Dumorn, Captain Dumorn, we have an unidentified object on the hull. And another one is like, not unidentified, radio signature indicates Cyril von Jaeger. And then I think someone like looks at another person and just runs to the top of the hull, and like a hatch is thrown open and they have like a gas mask on and put one on Cyril and drag him in as he's coughing. And that's where our episode ends.
That's it. Beneath the Adrenos. You'll heal up in no time. It's fine.
That's actually true. You can just sleep under the giant fiery demon mech and it'll heal you.
The Astros.
There's a reason for it, and it's a cool reason.
It's very
Seems
weird.
strange, but okay.
It's weird.
It's a cool reason. When I first saw it too, I was like, why? But when Kim
And then
explained it,
I
I was like,
was
that's
like,
actually rad. Okay, so that was the episode. We did not get a ton of experience because nobody but Kit failed rolls, which is rad in a way.
we
Also,
got
like
cool
hooks.
myth fights.
Hooks probably came up here, but there is a degree to like, did we move past those hooks? And that's what gets you the experience. So I think during, in between now and next stream, we can talk about where our hooks are at, and everyone should create at least one gravity clock between now and then. And I have a couple ideas for some in my head. Preferably try to create like one with another player and one with something else, but we'll get there. We'll see. Anyways, that's our game of Armor Austere for tonight. I have been your MC, Lauren Peterson. You can find me on Twitter at DM_LSP, and you can buy the games I write on itch.io.
I'm posting links right now.
/DMLSP. There's no underscore in that one. Yeah. Drew's gonna post a link. I'm currently running a sale. Everything is half off of like all of my games because I need to raise money to move. So there's like a bundle too. You pay like $18 to get like 40 something worth of games. It's rad. Check it out.
Do it.
Kim.
I'm Kim. You can find me on the Corpses and Curios podcast. We played GURPS in season 1, and I'm Artemis Pruitt on that. I'm a jack of all trades. It's a mess. In season 2, we play Urban Shadows, and I'm the GM for that. So that's pretty cool if you like Urban Shadows. You can find me on Twitter at Violently Ginger. I tweet sometimes. Yeah, that's me.
Fav.
My name is Liz. You can find me here every other Thursday. Fingers crossed.
Sorry. I keep calling you Fav. I just know
It's
you as
okay.
Fav.
That is what most people know me by. You can find me on Twitter at Favtastical.
Kit.
You can find me here every other Thursday, as well as my channel. We are restarting soon. I need to message my group, of which one, Cornelius, is in the chat for D&D. We are going to be figuring out our schedule, which is usually on a Saturday, for D&D. And you can find me on Twitter also, Kit Battlebeard.
Finally, Drew. I realize I pointed to all of you, and that doesn't make any sense
Makes
because no
no
one's looking
sense.
at my screen. I've spent this whole stream, at some point I double-clicked Drew, so I've got me, Kim, Fav, Kit, Drew.
You just have to look at my eyeliner. That's
The
what it
eyeliner
It's
is beautiful
fine.
and incredible, and I
I
have been
know.
spending most of this game staring at it.
When I wasn't staring at myself, I was.
Of course.
I'm Drew Tillman, and you can find me here every other Thursday when the curse doesn't, decide to randomly take us out. I'm currently in the podcast taking initiative where I play a very fast cat man. Well, cat boy, really. He's not a man. And that's all I have going on for me right now. Oh, well, sometimes I appear in Corpses and Curios side project, Halcyon by Night, where I play everyone's best boy, Edgelord. That's all I have currently. And yeah. and there's links for everybody in the chat.
Oh, one final thing. Next month is March Masksness, and all of us are participating to some degree, I believe.
Maybe, hopefully.
Maybe,
Yeah.
hopefully. I've been in the GM, the like coordination chat for that. James is working on things. I know
Is
Corpses and Curios is in there.
Oh, we are cool. I haven't gotten
Corpses
any
and
contact info.
Corpses and Curios is in the. Actually, hold on before I put my foot
Ogre
in my
needs
mouth.
to get to work editing my episodes.
Podcasts.
Because I was put down as the content and I haven't gotten anything. So
Wait, is it not in here?
Nako's only been in one episode so far?
Yeah.
Chris!
I thought I saw it in here.
I
Someone
know
tell Ogre to go apply. Like y'all are.
Well, I
we
applied.
did. Kim did.
I
Kim
applied.
registered us.
I applied and I haven't gotten any info. So if you could post somebody on our behalf, Lauren. that'd be
Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
I'll give a poke and say, hey, Kim applied for Corpses and
That
Curios.
was 3 days ago.
What's going on?
Mm.
But anyways, Corpses and Curios and Nerds on a Roll should be on there. All of these people are cool. Corpses and Curios, Halcyon by night. I run Nerds on a Roll. So you should see some of these heroes there. I think Edgelord was the winner of the Court of Blades tournament
He
last.
tied
He
with
tied.
He tied because Twitter is Twitter. I think like it
Yes.
technically came down to like 0.3%, and I was like,
yeah,
It's
it
a
was
very
something-
small
I
margin.
can't
It
see
was.
that. Everyone else says they can, but I can't, so it's a tie, and it was rad. Court of Blades is cool. I want to do something with that in the future when I have the time, which might be never. But yeah,
Edgelord's
time.
becoming a big grown-up faster than we can track him.
No,
And the New Year's Eve episode was
He
At
just
the
wants to go join
rate
Court of
at the
Blades.
rate we've been killing characters.
Oh Lord.
You kill more than any other Masks podcast I know.
Off stream, we gotta talk about spoilers. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that is us for tonight. Thank you, everybody. See you back here in 2 weeks at. Are we doing 8 p.m. Eastern?
I think
Yeah,
ish.
8 p.m. We
Ish.
try to start between 8 and 8:30
Ish.
Eastern. It's a little iffy
the
because
curse
everyone's
of-
getting home from work.
Yeah,
And-
and I'm
and-
3 hours before that.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
getting home from work there, and usually I'm eating dinner and dealing with other
Life.
things.
The
yeah,
curse.
life. And the curse. So
Making just fabulous eyeliner. I'm gonna learn by next time. I will have my
Yes.
eyes aligned.
perfect.
I'm gonna get some-
Glorious.
I'm gonna get some gold.
But you can watch Twitter, and usually I say kind of what rough start time we're gonna have, or
Sure.
when we go live. So
Yep.
if you watch me on Twitter, you'll find out.
And with that, have a good one, everybody. Thank you for joining us. That was fun.
Bye now.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.